Today's lesson, we're going to start out our warm-up with algebraic tiles. So as you could see, the key is if our rectangle is just plain, not filled in, it's positive. If our rectangle has shaded in region, it's negative. If our square is not shaded in, it's positive. And when it's shaded in, it's negative. Also, I'll be using the algebraic tiles. So I'm going to set them up here. So we're going to use green for positive and red for negative. Set them next to each other. And we're going to use tan for positive and red for negative. Okay? So we're going to set that up. So number one. So let's look at this. We have two non-shaded, so that's two green ones. So that means we're going to have two x's. So x1, x2. So we'll have 2x. Now we have four shaded ones. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So that's our next item will be -4. And then our last, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 8. And this time they are tan, so they are positive or not shaded positive. Okay, so equals 8. Okay. Now we have two-step equation, so let's solve it. Let's go to this side. So anytime we don't have two variables, we are looking at the number next to it. So opposite operation plus 4. So this cancels. And last step, we always divide with the number next to the x. Okay. Let's go to number 2. Let's set these up. Now remember again, green for positive, red for negative. All right, so we have 3 negatives, shaded or red. And then we're going to have two positive ones for the x's and for the last one we have a positive one. All right, so we're going to write this down. We have -3. These are x's. So plus 2x equals just 1. Okay, on this side, we're going to solve this. So we are solving for our one variable, which is our x. So I'm going to come to that 3. Opposite operations plus 3. What you do to one side, you have to do to the other side. That cancels. Bring this down. And gives you 4. And last step, you divide by number what's next to the x, which is your variable. Okay, let's do another one. Okay, so we have 2 shaded or 2 red ones. And we have our 2 numbers, which are in red or shaded, and we have our tan ones, which are not shaded in, which that means they are positive. Okay, let's put our equation together. So we have negative 2, 1, 2, x minus, because these are shaded in, minus 2 equals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8. Okay, now we'll go over here and solve it. All right, so we are solving for our variable. So plus 2 to both sides, our opposite operation. And the last step, we divide by whatever's next to our variable, which is our x. Okay. Let's do number 4. All right, we have 3 positive ones, positive x's. So they're in the green. And then we have either shaded or red for our numbers, which are negative. And our next term, they're tan, which are positive or not shaded in. Okay, so let's put our equation together. So we're gonna have 3 positive 1, 2, 3 x, then minus 1, 2, 3 equals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6. All right, let's go solve it on the other side. So plus 3 to both sides. This will cancel. 3x equals 9. And last step, divide by what next to our variable, which is our x. Okay, and one more, last one on our warm-up. All right, we have shaded in or negative or red. These are negative also because they are shaded in or red. And the last term, tan, positive, because we did not have any shading there. Okay, so we have negative 3 minus 1, 2, 2x, because the long ones are x's, or rectangles, equals 5, and it's positive. All right, let's go over here on this side to solve this. So plus 3. And the last step, divide by negative 2. Okay. All right, now, so usually warm-ups, students do these at their desk, and then we pick, students come up to the board and they, put a problem on the board and explain it. And if they're having issue explaining it, they could ask another student to help them, or they could ask me to help them. All right, now I'm gonna wrap up our warm-up and go straight to our lesson. So we usually get our notebooks out and introduce new material. So today we're working on multi-step equation with 3 types of solution: no solution, infinite solution, and one solution. So we're gonna start with no solution one. Okay, so our number 1, we have a number and a parentheses. Parentheses in algebra, they mean multiplication. So anytime you see a parenthesis and a number in front of it, you know right away you're going to be using distributive property. So we're going to distribute. Usually I recommend putting little arrows, because if you don't multiply the second term, that could be one of the mistakes made in these. All right, 2 times 2, 4x. and then 2 times 2 is plus 4 equals, same deal on the other side, 2 times 2 is 4, and 2 times 3 is 6. All right, so we did multiply all the terms, okay? Now step 2, we look at our equation, and we don't have anything to combine on this side or this side. We have to use opposite operation and move our terms side to side. Now I recommend starting on the right side. We could separate our equation if you need to. This way we eliminate one of these variables because we are starting on with 2 and we would like to end up with 1. Now why I start on one side? Because anytime I work out equations, it gives me less steps and it's just easier. So by mine, I always start on the right side. All right, so I have 4x, that means it's positive. If you need to, you could put a little plus there, like an imaginary plus, that way you know the opposite would be minus. So minus 4x, minus 4x. Okay, so remember how we do no solution? They both will cancel, so that's okay. So don't get alarmed if they both cancel. Now what you bring down is 4 equals 6. Now, does 4 equal 6? No, it doesn't. So we write our, it does not equal. So that makes this equation end up with no solution. So this is no solution. All right, try 2 more. Next one, same deal. We're going to distributing. Now, before we start distributing, see that negative here? I recommend putting 1 there. That way you don't miss that. So let's do one side at a time, and you could put 1 here. That way you know what you're multiplying. Negative 3 times 1 is just negative 3x. And negative 3 times negative 3 is plus 9, because negative times negative is positive. Now, on this side, negative 1 times 3 is negative 3x. And negative 1 times 4, minus 4. Okay, now same deal. I'm going to start on my right side. Plus 3x. What you do to one side, you do to the other. Got rid of all my variables. And 9 does not equal negative 4. So this makes a no solution again. Okay. One more. All right, this one's a little different. You don't have to distribute nothing on this side, but you do have to distribute on that side. So let's distribute. I'm gonna write these. I'm gonna bring them down. Negative 4 times 1, which is negative 4. And negative 4 times negative 6 is plus 24. And don't forget your x. Okay, now same deal. I'm going to start on the right side. I'm going to remove my variable. Okay, that cancels too. So negative 22 does not equal negative 4. Okay, this makes a no solution again. Okay. So at this point, I would ask for understanding. And if students still not understanding, I would give more examples and find out what point of equation is not understood. Okay, we're going to move on to part 2 of this lesson, which would be infinite solutions. So let's start with number 1. So we have an equal sign there, and we have 4 terms here. So now, step 1. We're going to combine like terms. So I'm going to use 2 colors pens. So 4x and negative 2x is one term. See how I circle the sign with it? That way I know what I'm doing. So 4 is positive. This one's negative. So 4 minus 2. So that gives us 2x for this group. I'm going to use red pen. So for this one here, negative 8